Hi there and welcome to this bonus episode of the Gazette's Hockey Inside Out show. I'm Stu Cowan of the Gazette, joined by my regular partners here. You know who they are, former Canadiens teammates and 1986 Stanley Cup champs, Chris Nilan and Rick Green. Knuckles, Brendan Gallagher got in the lineup the last game of the regular season, one of the best players on the ice for the Canadiens, scored a goal, healthy scratch the first two games of the playoff series. Series split 1-1 coming back to Montreal. Should Brendan Gallagher get back in the lineup?
Yeah, I think he should be back in, no question. Here's the deal. It's scrappy, it's dirty, it's ugly. Hockey, it's going to be. Tampa's going to come in here and do it again. I want a guy who's going to be willing to pay the price. And listen, Marty has the last change, right? When he uses them, he can use them. It's not like being in Tampa, and they might try and match against him. So I think bring him in the lineup. I would rather have him in there, battling like the battler he is, then I hate to say it because I have a soft spot for Dach. I do. I want to see him come back from all these injuries and do well. But he's got to want to do it himself. Not me wanting it for him. He's got to want it himself. Like he's at a point here, like no contract, right? Is he coming back here next year? And here's a guy who I don't see the desperation, that drive, that willing to get your face busted up to win hockey games. I just don't. And for a big guy, you need that. That's what this team needs. We heard they're a small team. I'd rather have a small Brendan Gallagher in there with balls the size of watermelons out there playing hard every night. And I want to see Brendan in the lineup.
Well, even like a Joe Veleno plays that physical style with Kirby Dach size. We don't see that from Dach. And, Rick, it's almost like Dach plays like he's 5'8" and Gallagher plays like he's 6'4".
Yeah. I don't know. We've talked about Dach for quite a bit of time now and trying to encourage him on occasion to show what he's capable of doing. And here's a guy that, out of all of them, is trying to find a contract for next year. And he doesn't respond in a way that he's angry of his performance. And he's one that's accepting just a half-assed type of game. And this is not what you want to see. This is not what you need. And we've said it over and over again. We're waiting. It hasn't materialized. Gallagher, for every year and for every shift, even if he plays 9 minutes, you throw him in there, he's going to cause all kinds of havoc, and he's going to kick and scratch and claw and do everything he can possibly do to upset the opposition and help the team find a way to win. So for me, you have to make a change. Some guys like Dach is not playing with that type of desire that deserves a chance at this time, and change it up with what you have. Even Veleno can replace some of those other guys that are doing almost the job and not playing with that fire and real desire to make the difference every time that they get on the ice. And they need to bring that now, and that's the only way that they're going to survive the series.
Well, Dach can become a restricted free agent this summer, Knuckles. Is it time to just move on? Another team maybe gives him a chance. What do you do with Kirby Dach this summer?
Jeez, I don't know. We got to see where this team goes from here. But, it's not promising what they're going to do with him. I think they don't. If he's back in the lineup and he doesn't do anything the rest of the way, then obviously it doesn't look good for him. So I'm not sure if they'll re-sign him.
Rick, I mean, the Blackhawks drafted him 3rd overall and they gave up on him pretty quickly. Like, are we seeing now maybe what the Blackhawks, I know he's had all kinds of injuries, Kirby, and that's got to be playing with his head in that, but are we maybe seeing why the Blackhawks give up on him?
Maybe. The unfortunate part, he's been snake bit with serious injuries. He seems to be always recovering from, bad things on the injury front, which does play in your mind. Down deep, maybe in the back of his mind, looking at the way he performs, he's like, I'm a little concerned that if I go that extra mile, I maybe hurt myself, but you obviously can't play like that and be effective as a big body. Something that is lacking with him is that fire and desire to really make the difference. And Chicago maybe saw that in him. I know he's a young guy, but you have to show some anger that you're not performing up to your capabilities, or maybe you are, and what you see is what you get. And if that's the case, I'd have a big concern with extending him as part of the Montreal Canadiens organization, because he doesn't fit the bill of somebody that really wants to pay the price to be part of the team.
Yeah, well, Veleno came into the NHL, Knuckles, as a first-round pick, the only Quebecer ever to get exceptional player status to play junior at 15. He's realized this year that if I want to stay in the NHL, I have to be physical. I mean, he's among the team leaders in hits this year, despite not playing so many games. Do you think Dach has a little Veleno in him, or are the injuries just playing too much in his head that this is what we're going to get?
I would think that injuries have certainly not helped him. And I get it, but you got to battle through that stuff, you know? Listen, I go back to when I hurt my knee. And I came back, I had a brace on. I was out there like tiptoeing through the tulips. Like, I'm like, what am I doing? I threw the brace in the barrel, and I said, go and play. Go and play. You can't skate around wondering about you're going to get hurt again. You got to go out there and be somewhat reckless at times. And you got to be willing to pay the price again. And yeah, I'm sure it's played on his mind, but you got to battle through that, as difficult as it is. Listen, I can feel bad for him. I tell you, there's 18,000 people that probably don't. They're saying, look at all the money this kid makes and da. You know, and people, I've been through those injuries, and they're not fun. And you got to get strong up here and have that will to battle your way back and battle through those things. And it's not easy, but, you know, I think he's been given a ample opportunity here to show that intensity. And for a big guy, he's lacked in that area in a big way. So, I hate even talking negative about him because of all the stuff he's been through. But, you know, it is what it is. You want to win hockey games, you got to bring the guys who are going to bring it every night. And unfortunately, I don't think it's enough from him. It's not enough.
No, GM Kent Hughes gave up quite a bit to get Dach, and I'm sure when he saw that icing in overtime, Kent Hughes in the press box must have been blowing a gasket. Anyway, that's it for this Hockey Inside Out Show bonus episode. We'll have one more bonus episode coming up over the next few days, so you can look for that. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the Hockey Inside Out YouTube channel. And in case you didn't already know, you can also watch Hockey Inside Out now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.